Alright, welcome. Daytona Speedway Moto. Track's 34 degrees. That's a cool track, a little faster track. I've seen it up, I think, to 42 degrees, so take that into account. This is pretty fast. Gonna do well, 57.5. That was my best, and pretty solid lap. Shout out to Frank and Neil, new subscribers. Description will have the setup, and we'll go through the corners in slow-mo and then at full speed. So here we go. Fifth gear. Coming up here, if you're defending, you definitely want to be tight to the yellow line. If you've got a little room behind you, just come in a little wider, just sets it up a little nicer. Basically, fifth gear, in real time when the tires are hot, I'm actually looking at the dark patches here on the line. When tires are cold, probably that green marker is definitely where you want to get on the brakes. So getting on the brakes pretty heavy, shifting down into third gear. You'll see it in real time, and then probably right around here, just carrying some speed, and then shifting down into second. And you just have to sort of feather the throttle and the brake, figure out if you're coming in too hot or too slow. And you want to be tight up against these tires. You can even just nick a little bit of the grass here, you won't get an X. Just don't take too much, you will get an X or you will spin. And then unwinding the gears and shifting up into third. Obviously this is probably the trickiest corner on the track overall. Now if you come in too hot and you run wide, or if you're too wide or something and you're on the outside, if you get onto this yellow curb, you can't see it from this angle, but if you're up close, you will see there is a lip here between the curb and the pavement. And if your outside tire is on the curb and you turn the wheel, your tire is going to catch this lip and it's going to spin you right into this wall. So be careful about that. Really, I don't recommend getting onto that curb. Again, if you are on that curb, you definitely want to run it to the gravel before you really turn in, and be very careful because you're going to easily spin. So watch out for that. The other tricky part is, if you've come in too hot, this curb as well. If I get a little closer here, maybe. It's hard to tell from this view, but this curb has a real big lip to it. I'm just gonna catch the edge of this curb and you'll see my wheel jump a bit. But if your wheel is on the grass and you hit this curb, if you're using my setup, good chance you'll bend your wing. So adjust your ride height if you want, or really just stay off this curb. I just nick it. You see the wheel there takes a good jump. That doesn't hurt the wing, but any more than that, there's a good chance you will. So careful with that. So yeah, that was second gear through that corner, working up the gears into third to fourth. So looking for this 100 meter board, braking at it in real time. That's how it looks. Braking down into second, carrying speed into this corner, so it's a good braking zone just to slow the car, then releasing the brake, some trail braking here, getting on the gas. I think I've shifted down into first about here, just to tighten the turn in on the car. You can even get onto this grasscrete or whatever it is here a little bit. That won't hurt you too much. And the trick is just getting on the power early as you can, unwinding the wheel. Now coming out here, if you've come in a little hot, come in a little wide, if you cross this curb and touch the grass, I think that's where you get the 1x. If you cross the curb here onto the pavement, you're okay. So just be aware of that. So second gear, working up into third and fourth. You can use this rubber, use all of this track. Fourth gear coming up again to the 100-meter board, and this cement little outcropping here. I like to brake in between the middle of them. Fourth gear down into second. Pretty hard on the brakes. If you can brake later and still make this corner, good for you. I can't. Running wide in this corner is expensive on the time, so really do make sure you don't outbrake yourself. And you really want to, again, use this yellow curb. All of these yellow curbs too, by the way, if you touch the grass around them, you're going to probably get an X. If you get a tire just on the edge of it, you're okay, but if you get a full tire on the grass around any of these yellow curbs, it's an X. So shifting down into first gear, just to tighten the radius up again here, I just nicked the grass again, no X there, but any more than that you probably will. Briefly on the power in first gear, and then just a little bit of brake, and again aiming for that yellow curb and wanting to take a lot of it and getting on the power early. These little straights, you can really lose some time on them. And again, running out onto this gravel here, I think gets you the X as well. Your back end will want to kick out on you. So working up into third gear. So coming in here, third gear, kind of sighting this third cone or second cone as the braking marker. Again, cold tires, all of these corners you want to be braking a little earlier, especially the first 3 laps. The tires are pretty cold and grip is not so good. So braking down into second gear, again just trying to carry some speed in there, and then shifting down into first again to tighten it up, and again getting on this curb. If you get a little bit onto the grassy gravel here, you shouldn't get an X if you're not too deep onto it. And again, on exit, if you just nick that grass, you're okay. First gear, getting on the power, shifting up into second gear. It's a bit of a short shift. There we go, second gear. And yeah, you're basically turning in real time. You're turning almost as quick as you straighten the wheel, turning right. And again, wanting to get on this curb, just easing off the power a little bit just to get the car to turn in and not running too wide, because you want to set yourself up again for this one, because this straight coming up is a pretty long one. So now shifting up probably into about third gear around here. There we go, third gear. And so right this kink in the track, or the end of the cones, if there's a car in front of you, you won't be able to see that. So the end of these cones, basically just getting off the power a little bit, just to get the car a little steady and not run so wide. And again, looking for that yellow curb, and probably I wanted to get a little tighter. You want to get your wheel onto this pavement. I ran a little wide, came in a little hot. It's going to cost me a little bit here. Just unwinding the wheel, getting on the power, and this little outcropping of the pavement, you want to make use of that. I just came through that section a little hot, got a little counter steer here. Don't do that. But this section is important to really nail it, because this is a long straight. And basically just aiming for the space between the light standards up here. Head that way and it'll set you up. So fifth gear coming up to the one board, braking just in front of it. This is another important section because it's another huge straight. You you can come into this section hotter, but your exit's going to be compromised, and it's better to come in a little slower and leave a little faster, because that next straight is a long one and there's a lot of drafting and all that good stuff. So fourth gear, bit of brake, and then back on the gas just to keep the back end a little steady. You gotta use this curb, and then it's really important to get this curb as well. Just catch it there, getting on the power, easing on the power as you get through it, and again, gotta hit this yellow curb, tail this track, hit the yellow curbs, and then just keeping it straight. I think the rule is your outside tire has to be on the pavement to avoid the X. So just be aware that if I was over any more than that, that would have been an X. So be aware that. Not the end of the world if you're in a race. A couple X's might be worth it. So working up into fifth gear. So coming into the banking section, I've seen people go up high here and then try and cut down through the bank. I've found I totally catch up on them when they do that, so I don't recommend it. The banking on this section is pretty severe, so really your car is as stable as it can be, and just hold that yellow line as tight as you can. And on exit, again, just hold this yellow line. Drifting out wide to the right, I find just slows your delta down a little bit. So there you go. So there's line 157.5. I am not an alien, but I don't claim to be. But if something there can help you out, certainly hit the like or subscribe. Let me know. If you see something I'm doing wrong, let me know. Appreciate some tips for something I can do better, and we will see you next time.